Well, hello and welcome. My name is Velma. You can connect with me at velmaknowles.com. This is all about your leadership chat. What does that mean? You get to listen in on valuable insights from valuable leaders just like you. I want to encourage you to go ahead and subscribe so that you never miss another episode. And if this is of value to you, please share the nuggets that you're going to take away from all these great leaders. Please give a big welcome to my special guest and your valuable leader, Kevin Smith. Hello, Kevin, and welcome to your leadership chat.
Good morning, Velma. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, great. So good to have you. And thank you again. Where are you? Tell all the listeners, where are you coming from? Where are you speaking out of?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a home office in our home in Jasper, Indiana. It's about a town of 16,000, 17,000. A strong German Catholic heritage. We're located again in southern Indiana. We're about 2.5 hours southwest of Indianapolis, the state capital, and then about an hour and a half due west from Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay, so are you a big race car driver fan or something?
You know, I get scared above 75 on the interstates, but I do like watching NASCAR and the Indy 500 in that regard. But that's about as close as I get to 200 miles an hour.
So, I'm so glad you're here with us today. I want to give you a chance to share with our listeners a little bit about you and what you do, or what you consider to be a big part of your focus now. So share a little bit about you, what you do.
Absolutely. Just a brief background, Velma. If I distract too far, please bring me
I'll
back
pull you right in. I love to do that.
Okay. So I, throughout my life, have worked to be very diverse, not necessarily by plan, but it's kind of like the U2 song, right? I still haven't found what I'm looking for.
I love it.
Kind of been the theme, if you will, as I look back. But spent almost 24 years in manufacturing, working multiple positions from stock room and the back dock and shipping and through production supervision, middle management, executive management in that piece. Moved to education about 15 years ago because education was something always in my blood. And in middle school in the early 1970s, going back more than 50 years in that piece, and spent more than 12 years in education, and have moved in the past year and a half, 2 years, focused I'm doing some university level, doctoral, master's level teaching at a university roughly half an hour from home. But my real heart and passion is paying it forward and sharing my failures. And when I say paying it forward, it's not about what I did right to have the successes I have. And God has blessed me with so many people that helped pick me up and grow me throughout my life. And I was along for the ride of his plan for my success. But I get great thrill of having opportunities to talk leadership, to talk transformation, and to serve others in their transformation through coaching, through their walk with God, through writing their story in that piece. And I do that through individual coaching, team training. And quite honestly, you and I were talking before we started the video cast here about the reading and the books and learning and just getting, from a multitude of authors, but then also just having people in my life, from the weekly Bible study group to my wife, to my grandchildren, to my sons, our sons, and our daughters-in-law. There's just so many people out there every day that we can learn and grow from, in particular when it comes to leadership. So my heart and passion, I think, similar to you, is want to come alongside individuals and others and help them any way I can.
Yeah, no, and you're doing that today just by agreeing to be a guest. I'm so honored to have you here because, there's so much that we can learn from each other. And selfishly, every time I do one of these chats, I learn so much. And so I just want to share that with others. And I can't thank you enough for your time today, Kevin. It is so valuable. So thank you again. I want to also ask you, you talked about so many people. And one of the things that we talk about on the show is we really try to say, if you could pick one person, or maybe two, okay, I'll give you two. But if you could pick that, like those two people, that one person that you would say, that person really stands out in my life as a valuable leader. And why would you say that? So who is a valuable leader in Kevin's life? And why would you say that? You know, made you into the person, or helped make you into the person you are today.
You know, that's a toughie to narrow it down to just one or two.
I,
Uh,
I gave you a week to think about it.
I know that you're all hard in that regard, Velma. I appreciate that aspect, but if I were going to pick two, I would pick both of these individuals. By the way, are pastors.
Okay.
One serves Kendall Waldy. He serves as a head, a superintendent, if you will, of a Christian school about 3 hours away. Uh,
Right.
Used to be a basketball coach, still is a basketball coach, but he
Okay.
has lived such a vibrant, active life, and the impact as far as some of the natural leadership skills, being able to observe,
Yeah.
just to talk and share. And he doesn't even know the fact he's having such a magnitude of influence, just talking to him, and the positivity and there's a, as you used in your chapter, writing and living beyond purpose, there's that mountain God's giving us, right? And it's almost
Right.
every day there's a mountain there. Some mountains more steep than others, but from Kendall's perspective, he would tell you that that you'll get over that mountain in a heartbeat. Now let's talk about something else. Once you get to the other side in that piece, that's the manner of which he presents himself. And then the second would be my local pastor, the church that I attend here in Jasper, Daryl Land. This young man is done. I say young. I'm not sure how old he is, so I'm going to be careful. But I know he brought a Christian church a little more than 20 years ago into a strong German Catholic community, and the
Right.
church has grown. And the message it sends, and just the positivity, the value base,
Right.
your point of purpose-driven growth and coaching and
Yeah.
leadership that I know you promote from your business perspective and where your heart lies, it's there every day. And
Yeah.
the mission on the wall is simply love God, love people, change the world. And if
Yes.
life is truly kept that simple,
Right.
everything else takes care of itself. If we
Oh
could
my
just stay
gosh.
focused there. But Daryl just brings the passion and drives and leads. And you talk about engaging others when you don't even know you've been engaged. Just minutes with him and you have that piece. And when it comes to wanting to share my purpose in life with others and help pay it forward, I can take something from both Kendall and Daryl and package it together.
Wow.
And if I could accomplish 1/10 of the impact the two of them are having, I would walk away with a big smile on my face every day.
Yeah, well, you know what? I love that smile. You should carry that smile. It's good. And one of the things you said a really cool nugget there, and I want to tie it together, is that both Daryl and Kendall, both of them, they don't even know the impact that they're having. That was, yeah, I'm paraphrasing what you said, but you're like, they're doing this and they don't even realize the impact. And I think that's something that, I really wanted this chat to bring to light, because where you just shared that little clip right there, for them to hear that is going to make them feel like, wow, I didn't know I was making that kind of impact in your life. And it's being a servant leader is exhausting. Okay. And if you don't know, or you don't get that feedback, or if someone doesn't tell you, and sometimes we just take it for granted, right? Then you're like, Lord, I'm doing the best I can, but I don't know if it's working. And I think you've just, gave evidence to the fact that these two men are making such a tremendous impact in your life, and yet they may not even be aware of it or know what they're doing and how valuable it is to you. Wow.
Well, I appreciate that follow up from your perspective. And it's a busy world today,
Yeah.
regardless of whether you're a pastor, production line worker, a classroom teacher, or a single or multiple a multiple home parent
Right.
aspect in that regard. There's something's happening every moment in that
Oh.
piece, and too much occurs to where that opportunity just to appreciate others.
Yeah.
And just to take a moment to appreciate others. And I know this doesn't go to the question, but just building off of some of the mentors and leaders like Kendall and Daryl, just taking time to send a text to someone and saying, I'm proud of you, brother, or I love you, or I just want you to know I appreciate you and all you're doing on behalf of God's children, or on behalf of what you've done for me. Just can make such a huge difference in the world. And it's amazing at times, and this is not a braggart statement, but what amazes me, Velma, and you talked about earlier when you and I were off camera a bit about God's glory. And it's amazing when I'll send a text to someone and I get a message back, your timing is impeccable, I'm beat down today. I needed that from somebody.
Hmm.
It's amazing just those reflective moments. But you know, the people that Kendall and Daryl are impacting just through themselves,
Right.
through representing not only God, but the value-based principles that they have in their life and how they model them without
Right.
saying any words. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's just simply amazing.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. And I know that, what you shared here today, I love that word, someone, because there is, even if it's just one person, there's someone that needs that message. And it resonates with me big time. I get, people that I'm not connected to on some of the social media channels, actually, either through a connection that they have, see a post or a video or something, and then they just drop me a note and they say, I really needed this today, or this encouraged me, and you just don't know it, right? So that's someone. There's someone out there for all of us to pour into. Let me ask you about my second question, because you've got these two strong men in your life that are making the difference, and we kind of talked about this even before the official chat, but behind the scenes chat, if you will. And the question is around, how do you, Kevin, believe that you are making this valuable impact in someone's life to help them, see themselves as a valuable leader? How are you doing that?
You know, I'm going to say this with every question, right? It's a great question. It's one that's difficult for me to answer. And I think as we spoke a couple of weeks ago as well, and
Right.
I apologize for keep referring to that. I'm one that, in my past, I've helped go out and win multi-million dollar contracts for
Yeah.
businesses, et cetera, grants for schools. But when it comes to selling this space, it's been the most difficult thing I've had to do in my life in that piece. Not that I have to do, but when the time came to take that next step in that purpose piece. But really, what I try to do, and when I was working in manufacturing, and this goes back to your chapter 3 a little bit. One thing that really hit home with me was when I was working, it was about, okay, the data point says our quality level should be 99.8%, 99.9 get Six Sigma, X number parts per million, 3.4, whatever that magic number was.
Right.
And that's where my focus was. I missed out on that relationship piece. As I look back now, I missed out on so many opportunities,
Yeah.
and the value I had to bring others was watered down because of that. And they
Exactly.
got cheated in that piece. Great people, many people who've excelled, and I'm thrilled for. But for me today, what I have learned through my lessons is and stumbling and falling down and getting back up, whether I wanted to or not, in that
Exactly.
aspect, is just let people know something that says you're alongside them. An
Yes.
opportunity, if you're working for someone that may be a superior in the organization piece, let them know that you're there to make them successful. How can I
Exactly.
make you successful?
Right.
Sending a text, sending an email and saying, hey, we've not talked in a while. Want you to know that I'm here for you. How can I serve you today? What can I pray for you on?
Right.
I'm proud of you. Just something that says I'm there for you.
Yeah.
And how can I help you in that aspect? Something to follow up with. If someone's struggling and they're wanting to attend a leadership seminar, but they can only afford a portion of the registration, just being offered to pay the other part
Yeah.
in that piece. There's
Hmm.
just so many ways, and I get amazed at times to where many people would look at what I just described, and I know you do the same things. I mean, there's
Hmm.
nothing secret about it, right? It's not a secret sauce. Uh,
Right.
I limited myself by when I saw the sign change the world and back, 20, 30 years ago, I began in my mind, okay, I want to serve others, but how do I do it? It's such a big world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until I was able to come to peace more and more so with my relationship with God and who I was,
Hmm.
and Psalm 46:10, where I could just be still
Right.
and
Right.
want to serve, transform, inspire, love, and lead, and
Right.
narrow it down, is when you recognize, to your point, it's just someone today.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is
It's
your
just
plan for that one? Not
right.
the millions, that
Right.
one today. And if you
Well,
recognize that and keep it simple, that's
yeah.
what God intends for us. That's what
Yep.
we're here for.
Yeah. Well, and it goes back to, if you, if you're not faithful with the little that I have given you, how can you be faithful? How can I expect you to be faithful with so much more? And that's a lesson, yours truly had to learn as well, thinking, but the world is so big. How do you make that impact? Just to start right where you are with right who's in front of you and make a difference with one. So beautifully said. Well, I appreciate that so much. And you, when we, and for, this is a chat, and that's why people are just coming in on different parts of the conversation. So what we're referring to times that, are not on the tape. But when we talked, you also shared with me, and I'd love you to share if you're comfortable, and you didn't know this was coming, but you talked about a model that you have, and how you really want to leverage this to help other leaders. And you had a acrostic, so it meant something. And would you share a little bit about that with us? Because I just think it's a beautiful approach.
Sure. For me, and again, this isn't earth shattering, right? But for me, it has been. For me,
Exactly.
it's been life changing. Be still.
Still,
So
yes.
as a leader, whether we're a parent, whether we're an organizational president, a superintendent of a school, a
Right.
college chancellor, or president of a university, just be still and lead from there. It doesn't mean be lazy and not do anything,
Right.
or don't move in that piece. For me, still goes to the S is serve. Serve self, serve others. Too many times I can tell you that I cheated the others, as I alluded to a moment ago, because I wasn't serving myself. Not in a selfish way, but I wasn't bringing value to me by taking breaks, by taking vacations, by reading and reflecting and growing and learning as I am from people like Stephen Covey, John Maxwell. But serve self, serve others. And then the T, transform. Once we serve ourselves and add value to self, and we're bringing value to others, we do it with such a passion. We're transforming, not just teaching, we're transforming.
Transforming. Right.
This to the point of an individual wanting to wrap their arms around the excitement and the value you brought, and multiplying that within them and others. To help others sustain that transformation passion, be there to inspire them and influence them, and share where you have failed or I have failed as an individual in the past, whether it's a grandparent and a grandchild, whether it's a supervisor and a worker, whether it's peer to peer. Just be there to continue to motivate them, inspire, and influence. And then all of this is love. And, sometimes, and I love the book by Joel Manby that, love works. And sometimes there's not enough of that in our world. It seems like love has become a negative 4-letter word that nobody wants to use. And why can't we love the people that work for us? So why can't we tell them that we love them? It says we appreciate you. It says we're there to influence, to transform, and to serve you. And then finally, it's just lead, but lead through consistency and intentionality of learning, and beyond your strength zone. So that's kind of the, for lack of a better word, acronym that I've used. And to me, when you put still together and serve, transform, inspire, love, and lead, it takes leadership and puts a plus sign on the end and synergizes it even further.
So beautiful. Love your still model. I just had to have you share that. I know you weren't expecting it, but
no, I wasn't, but thank you.
Yeah, because I think people really need to grab a hold of that, and you've got something there. All right. My next question is around this big takeaway idea. We never know. And we talked about this. It could be one person. So we never know who's going to listen in on the chat. And at what point in their life they're going to listen in and say, let me see what's going on with these two. Let me, listen in on this chat here with Kevin Smith and Velma Knowles. And so for this question, if you could give one big takeaway, Kevin, that you would want listeners to just to really land on them, for them to hear, that would say, this is something that could help you become a valuable leader, live, your life in a purpose-driven fashion, what would that big takeaway be?
Well, and again, you're limiting me to one, right? So that makes it, I never was a good at test taking anyways. That was always my excuse in school. But one big takeaway, if I could provide one takeaway that I think, and I'm going to combine two things into one because they go hand in hand.
You would do it.
Well, you said to multiply, right?
Yeah,
so
of course.
Multiply here. But
go for it, man.
I can plug two things together.
Yeah.
I think at times when we're given objectives and goals by others as a leader,
Sure.
it bogs us down. And I can
Yeah.
tell you from experience, take that STILL acronym we just spoke about a moment ago. I have failed a lot of times in delivering to the level I should have in each one. And when I put my finger back on it, there's two reasons that jump out at me: overthinking,
Yeah.
and, for lack of a better term, not providing more positivity and
Mm,
giving to self. And that's
ah,
part of serving self, not only the
yeah.
health, but mentally positive talk. Being
Yes.
able to take the negative piece, and rather than say, boy, I really blew that, and spend 2 days, letting that fester in one's mind. Yeah, you know what? We're going to make mistakes. That's okay.
Right.
It's okay to say, that didn't come across the way I meant it to,
Right.
but don't let it take the rest of the next 24, 48, 72 hours. Understand that you're still growing. Give yourself
Yes.
grace. It's okay. It's a learning experience. It's a step forward. John Maxwell's book, Failing Forward. I love the acronym. I put another F with it, fabulously failing forward, because you get something positive to go with the forward piece. But don't overthink things at the
Yeah.
same time. Give yourself grace and be positive and forgive yourself, even before others know that they need to forgive you.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I think that whole self-care, self-love, they always say the biggest critic in your life is you, right? We're the first ones to find fault in everything that we do. And I'm, guilty in that space too, because we put such high expectations on ourselves. And, give yourself some grace. And you know what? If you are not making mistakes, that means you're not learning. You're not, because you're not learning anything. It was I was reading something yesterday, and it hit on what you were talking about from the perspective of really taking care of yourself. And it was like, if you're the one that's talking all the time, then you're really not learning anything new. It's only when you learn to listen that you learn something new. So I love what you just said, and I'm getting so much out of this, such juicy stuff. Okay, so the last question, which feel free to share how you would like, but I always want to give everyone a chance to say, I heard Kevin and I really like this guy. I want to follow him, or I want to pick up a book, or I want to, get in his coaching program, or I want to learn more about what he's doing. And so, how can people contact you? Why don't you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I would welcome the opportunity if anyone wants to talk further about STILL or some other opportunities in that piece of their life. But I'm on LinkedIn.
Yes.
There's probably a lot of Kevin Smiths out there, with certainly a lot of Smiths, but just Kevin R. Smith on LinkedIn with a profile. And also my website is Kevin R. Smith Co. So KevinRSmithCO.com. And I'm on Twitter at the Kevin R. Smith Company if you want to follow that aspect. I would welcome the opportunity to connect. And, on the website, in the lower right-hand corner, near the bottom center, I can't recall exactly which one now, there's a chance just to send an email, and I'll reach out to you and follow up in that regard. But I would welcome that opportunity.
Awesome. All right. So we're going to make sure that your website is available, and it's Kevin R. Smith, because it's
I
a real.
know there's a lot of Smiths. I know it's a real name. Take my word for it.
Hey, thanks so much for watching another episode of Your Leadership Chat. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button here and tap that bell icon so that you never miss another episode. I hope too that you'll give us a thumbs up on the video for a like. And then if you feel led, please share the video with those who need to see it. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Your Leadership Chat. Bye for now.